Welcome back to the channel. We're tracking a major political shakeup in Europe today as the Dutch government has collapsed. This comes after far-right leader Geert Wilders pulled his PVV party out of the governing coalition, citing disagreements over migration policies. The coalition itself had been in power for less than a year. Prime Minister Dick Schoof confirmed his resignation on Tuesday, tendering the cabinet's resignation to King Willem-Alexander. In a televised address, Schoof called Wilders' move irresponsible and unnecessary, adding, "As far as I'm concerned, this shouldn't have happened." The core of the dispute, Wilders was pushing for 10 additional, stricter asylum measures. These included a freeze on new asylum applications, halting the construction of reception centers, and new limits on family reunification for asylum seekers. Many of these proposals had previously been dismissed due to legal concerns during initial coalition talks. According to reports, a last-ditch effort by Prime Minister Schoof to save the coalition failed dramatically. A meeting with party leaders on Tuesday morning lasted just 1 minute before Wilders walked out, effectively ending the government. Wilders later posted on X, "No signature for our asylum plans. PVV leaves the coalition." Political reaction has been swift, with many leaders expressing shock and anger. They pointed out that several of Wilders' demands were actually similar to policies already in the existing coalition agreement, and that the other parties weren't necessarily blocking their implementation. This now collapsed coalition, formed in July 2024 after months of negotiations, was always seen as a somewhat uneasy alliance. It brought together Wilders' anti-immigration PVV, the conservative liberal VVD, the Farmers' Citizen Movement BBB, and the centrist New Social Contract. Infighting was reportedly common. Wilders' former coalition partners are accusing him of manufacturing this crisis. VVD leader Dilan Yeşilgöz called the move super irresponsible, stating, "This wasn't about asylum at all." Deputy Prime Minister Mona Keizer from the BBB went further, saying, "I think Wilders is betraying the Netherlands." Despite the criticism, Wilders appears undeterred. He told reporters he intends to become prime minister and aims to make his PVV party bigger than ever in the upcoming elections. Some analysts, like Armida van Rij from Chatham House, suggest Wilders may have triggered the collapse due to his party's declining poll numbers. Economically, the immediate impact seems minimal. Sandra Flippen, chief economist for ABN AMRO Bank, noted that the government had barely made any concrete plans during its short 11-month tenure. However, this political instability comes as polls show a tight race between far-right and green-left parties, with migration and cost of living remaining key voter concerns across Europe. With the NATO summit scheduled in The Hague at the end of the month, Schoof's ministers will likely try to remain in a caretaker capacity. New elections are anticipated in the autumn. However, Wilders' decision to topple the government could make forming future alliances even more challenging for him, regardless of his party's performance. By centering the collapse on asylum, Wilders is clearly setting the stage for his election campaign. But, given his party held responsibility for asylum and immigration for nearly a year, it's a gamble that may or may not pay off. We'll keep you updated as this story develops.